Hi, witches and other people watching. It's Kristen after a long time of not making any videos, and I'm sorry about that. It's just been crazy, as you all know. Not just COVID, but I've had family stuff, and everybody's okay-ish. Okay, one person isn't okay. At any rate, yeah, a lot going on. But I wanted to make a video for a couple of reasons. One, I haven't done one in a long time. Two, whenever I screw up my eyeliner and make it too thick in person, it actually looks pretty decent on camera. So I was like, I put my eyeliner on today and I was like, ooh, God, I am really extreme right now. So maybe it'll look good on the camera. I don't know. Yesterday was my 55th birthday. I am now a junior senior. Yay! Not a bad thing for a Wiccan to be. As many of you know, in Wicca, women do not lose value with every passing second, and our value has nothing, well, not mostly to do with whether men find us sexually attractive. So I still have my croning ceremony to look forward to, which I think I'm going to do around 60. I think that's what I'm going to do my croning. At any rate, it's an honor to be a crone. Excuse me, technically, I'm already a crone because I am postmenopausal. But at any rate, so hi, here we are again. Today I think I'll talk a little bit about the fact that I'm going to go to Paganicon this year. Paganicon is next weekend. It is currently March 12th, 2022, so it's next Thursday through Sunday. Excuse me, goodness. I have a little mold thing in the spring, I think. At any rate, so Paganicon is a local con to us. We are in Minnesota. And in the western suburb of Plymouth, Minnesota, there is a hotel at which every year Paganicon convenes. And it's a wonderful time. Anybody who can go, I recommend that you do go. It's also a very gentle first introduction to paganism in general, and also to Wicca and other forms of paganism in particular, because it's in a hotel. The first time I went to a fest that wasn't a Blue Star family gathering and had, witches and pagans from like all over, it was at a park. I believe it was Free Spirit Gathering in Darlington, Maryland. And when an entire park is overtaken by a pagan fest, a lot of times it's like clothing optional and stuff. And I remember like I was a first degree, I think, and like we're driving into the compound and there's this guy doing naked yoga, and I will never look at Downward Dog the same way, and that's all I'm going to say about that. In a hotel, you're going to have people with their clothes on, which is, comforting for new people sometimes. Not everybody, but some people take a little time to get used to the whole pagan blase attitude about clothing. They have at Paganicon, and you can just Google it, it'll pop up, Paganicon, PAGANICON.org, and it'll pop right up. They have classes, rituals, roundtable discussions. They have a wonderful dance on Saturday night to celebrate the vernal equinox, or thereabouts, It is so much fun. We have a wonderful vendor section, which is open to the public. You don't have to have a ticket to Paganicon to come in and peruse the items that are for sale, and that is just a joy unto itself. And this year, I'm going to be working part-time in the vendor section, helping Anita Phoenix with her vendor table. She is an incredible potter. She makes ritual tools and just beautiful, beautiful things. And she's going to need my help. So I'm going to be doing that. So come on in and say hi. If you're going to Paganicon, you'll see me there. I'm not teaching anything this year there. Also, you do have to have a negative COVID test within, I want to say, 48 hours of going, and everybody has to wear a mask. So be prepared for that. But it's the first time that we're going since before the pandemic, and I'm really excited. We have a hotel room, and We're just going to have a lot of fun with our pagan peeps. And what I really love about Paganicon is that there's so much food there in the different like themed party suites that if you didn't want to buy any food, you could literally live for the several days on the stuff in the party suites. I mean, we eat at the restaurant and surrounding restaurants, but you don't have to. If you can only afford like a day pass or whatever, you just go to the different hospitality suites and you can get food enough and drink. Yeah. So that's really cool. Also, there are so many different types of paganism represented there. That is wonderful. We have Vudan priests and priestesses. We have Azatruers, various different types of Wickish, Wiccan type folk, traditional and non-traditional. We have, well, an old friend of mine, an old high school buddy of mine, Kari Taring, she teaches and performs. She does this wonderful Norse staving, which is incredibly spiritual and powerful. Who is performing? Oh, Wendy Rule will be at Paganicon this year. In other years, we've had the pleasure of seeing Dave the Bard, Twatha Day, S.J. Tucker. They get really good musical performers to perform at this function. And on the night of the party, they have this cool spread of like free food. You have to pay for alcohol, but there's free food. And everybody dances and does spiral dances and other fun pagany participatory shenanigans, if you will. Different traditions have different party suites. You can take classes on so many things. From magic to doing personal shadow work to doing, how to construct a meaningful pagan ritual. What's the difference between a generalized pagan ritual versus a Wiccan ritual, meditation, stuff for beginners, stuff for intermediate pagans, stuff for advanced pagans, talks about ethical issues in magical society, so many wonderful good things. And to be with your fellow witches, regardless of whether you're brand new or you've been doing this for 30 years, is this feeling that I cannot describe. So look it up, Paganicon. If you can't come this year, maybe come in one of the subsequent years. I would love to see you. Come right up to me, talk to me, be like, hey, Kristen, I love to talk to people. So yeah. So my husband and I are going, and several of our friends, so many people I know go. We've been involved since I believe the second year it existed, and sometimes I'll teach a class. I've taught the creation care and uses of astral temples before, and that class goes over really well. I've been asked to do it again. I just have been dragging my feet on it. But yeah, so many good things. So please, do take a look. Just take a look online and maybe consider it for another year if you can't come this year. I love pagan festivals. I've done some articles on important things to know about pagan fests. Excuse me. Paganicon is particularly beginner friendly because, like I said, nobody's walking around naked and covered in body paint and glitter, because that can be a little like for new people. But also it's gentle because the environment is this suburban hotel. Does that limit us from dancing around a fire, hooping and hollering? Yeah, we can't do that there, sadly. But it's just so worth going. And it's not that expensive either, really, as far as fests go. Plus, if you want, now you may not be able to get a room in the hotel at this point, but you can get a room in a neighboring hotel. There are neighboring hotels around the area. So if you're traveling, definitely you can still stay in a hotel. Book early if you're going to go next year, because they have a Paganicon rate for rooms, so that's also nice. I mean, it's still a fairly expensive hotel. I mean, it's just over $100, I think, is the Paganicon rate for your standard room. Excuse me. But yeah, there is just so much to do, and in the vendor area, they don't just have like ritual tools and jewelry to buy, but they have many, many books. And what's significant about that is that when you go to a function like this, you can talk with experienced practitioners about what books are worth your while, given what you're trying to discover or develop or what have you. Because I'm going to be careful here. I peripherally know, I'm an acquaintance of one of the acquisitions editors at Llewellyn, and I have friends who have written books for Llewellyn. But I'm just going to say that book publishing is a business. It is not anything other than that. And a lot of times book publishers will accept books that pander to what a beginner wants to hear versus what a beginner needs to hear or needs to discover. And so a lot of books are just shit, I'm sorry. And not just Llewellyn's books. I mean, Llewellyn has some great books. They have some not so great books, in my opinion, and I have reasons for that. But if you can like go to a function like this where books are being sold, you can talk to the people who are selling them, you can talk to other people, you can get ideas of book lists from people in the hallway or people in the hospitality suites or in a class. And that's super useful, you know? It's so much more useful than stumbling blindly around. I've talked to people who have had to wade their way through, you know, oceans of crappy, partial information, only to discover later on that they have to unlearn a bunch of stuff or recategorize how they think about certain things because they got a hold of books that were not great books. So yeah, and also a lot of the pagan authors will do book signings at this function and functions like Paganicon. I sat in a hallway and had a good 20-minute conversation with Ivo Dominguez, who's one of my favorite authors. I recommend his stuff. He's not for beginners. Ivo's writing is for high intermediate to Jedi level pagan. Okay, to cross worlds there for a second. Ivo's the real deal. But like a lot of these book authors will sit and talk with you and talk to you about their process of why they wrote this book. And you can meet them and that's fun. It's kind of, they're kind of a celebrity. Some of them will take selfies with you, you know, and also the performers generally are available and are selling their CDs and will be milling around and you can talk to them and relate to them, and that's really lots of fun too. Yeah, so looking super forward to that next weekend, and maybe the following Paganicon I will teach again. They have changed the deadline for submissions for classes. It's earlier than it used to be, so I'm going to have to probably get on that like soon-ish if I'm going to teach. But yeah, come see us. Have fun with a bunch of witches. They have a costume party at the dance on Saturday night, and I don't usually go in costume. I'm not a costume person, but there are some amazing costumes. And the last time I physically went to it, Anita and her two students won the costume competition, and she makes these amazing fairy wings, and she's so artistic. You know, I'm not an artist really. Like I write. That's an art, I guess, you know, but like I don't like make beautiful things with my hands. You know, not particularly a singer. That can't really do that, but I admire people who can. Yeah. So, happy Ostara for those who celebrate. Bless those seeds. Happy spring. Spring is almost upon us, and it feels extra special this year to me because of what we've all been through and what we're still going through. And can I just say, I may or may not possibly have hurled something at the Russian dictator who's, you know, doing immoral things to other countries which are supposed to be sovereign. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, so this is a short one. Love you guys. Glad to be back, and may we all be blessed.